we say in the piyut of Yochai, b'kodesh hakadoshim. That means that Rabbi Shimon lived every moment of his life. He wasn't a kohen, gadol, but he lived every moment of his life in that reality that's called kodesh hakadoshim. And in kodesh hakadoshim, in that reality, Am Yisrael is pure and innocent. Every Jew is pure and innocent. Because Rabbi Shimon and the whole Zohar Kodesh and Pnimis HaTorah and the world of Reb Shaila and the world of Rabbi Nachman, it's a Metzias, it's a place where, of course, there are imperfections, of course there's ugliness, of course there are mistakes. But to be able to look at a moment in a Jew and to see the Kodesh Kadoshim inside of him, if we see the eyes of Rabbi Shimon, we're able to look at someone and to transform that into a gal shel atzomas. A gal shel atzomas, which literally means a pile of bones, but in Likutei Moharan, it means that he was able to megala the atzmas. When Rabbi Shimon looked at someone, he saw the essence. He saw that we're good. He saw that the emes were good. He saw that the pnimius of each and every one of us. And we're waiting so long to have a Rebbe, to have a tzaddik that will look at us in such a way. And to see that in his eyes, that he sees who we really are and how we really so badly want to be good. There was a story that I told at a Hilula a couple of years ago about a Hungarian survivor by the name of Grunwald. I actually met Mishpacha of his after I said over this mice. Somebody came over to me and said this Mishpacha. Or a neighbor of his. So this Grunwald was in Auschwitz. He came and he was in Manhattan in some building that he got through the highest, the immigration. He was staying with a lot of other survivors, and he didn't have any work, and he didn't know what he was going to do with his life. And the only thing that they had over there is they gave all of them to read the Yiddish newspaper every morning, and he saw the newspaper that there was a big levaya going on in Crown Heights because the Frierdiker Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak, was nifter. So he had nothing to do, and he knew that he came from Munkach, and in Munkach there was big derech eretz for Chabad Chassidus. And he, maybe not as much for the Frierdiker Rebbe as it was for the Rasha, but there certainly was a connection. And this fellow Grunwald, he decided to go with a friend. Let's go to the Levaya. Let's go to be Mechabed the Tzaddik. And there was a huge crowd, and everybody was pushing to try to touch the Aron, to touch the Tzaddik. But there was a baskol, there was a ramkol, a loudspeaker that said that only somebody who went into the Wasser that morning, who went into the mikveh, could touch the Aron. If you didn't go into the water, you didn't go into the mikveh, you couldn't touch them. But he kept on pushing, even though the truth is that Grunwald had not been to it. But he kept on pushing, and there was some Chabadskis standing over there, one of the Shayim, and he asked him, did you go into the water this morning? And he rolled up his sleeve, and he showed the numbers on his arm, and he said, the Vas and the water I didn't go into, but in fire I've been in the fire. And the man stepped aside of this. She went up to the Aron and he cried to the Rebbe, Parnasa, Rebbe Parnasa. And then it was all nice that afterwards he was able to meet somebody at the Levaya, and he gave him a job, and he was in that job all over the years. So that's really the story of our lives. We are in many ways unworthy. And we're not living, let's face it, in the Kodesh Kadosh. And we weren't in the water of purity necessarily this morning. Whether we toiled or we didn't toil, we're not so pure. But we're reaching. We want to touch we want to make contact with that pureness of the tzaddik. We want to have something to do with Rabbi Shimon. We want to touch the Aron of the Frierdiker Rebbe. We want. So, but then there are those who are stopping us because we're not worthy. So how dare we try? How dare our generation push ourselves to this? So then we don't have, Baruch Hashem, we don't have numbers on our arms. And we didn't have to go through those kinds of fires like Grunwald did and my parents did. But it's a different kind of a fire that our generation is going through. And we'll leave it at that. It's a fire that's taking away many of our chayim. And we're trying to survive those fires. So in that schus, Hashem Yisborach should tell all of the Shoimim to move away and to allow us to come to the world of Rabbi Shimon, the Tzaddikim, to dance together, all of the Tzaddikim, with the Gulash of Amitis, and Mehebi Amen 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 Afreilich and Alechtig in my